GameStop didn't want Walmart to have all of the pre-E3 fun, so they've gone ahead and added 15 Switch SKUs to their systems. What could they be? What could they be? What's going on, everybody? It's Zach Switch Force. Gabe is here, and let's get some facts out the way. Yoshi and Super Smash Bros. Are already in the system, so those two are not part of this 15. We do expect that these 15 games will be announced / revealed at E3. What are they? How many come from first party? How many come from third party? Not sure, but let's give a little speculation here, Gabe. These are in the system, so more than likely they are going to materialize. What do you think makes up this list?
You know, Fire Emblem is something that instantly pops up. We've known about the game for a while, but clearly we're going to get more details. And the other thing I struggle with a little bit here is, could these be like any like special editions or collector's edition? Because maybe it's not like 15 brand new games. It's just a couple of versions of one new game. A game that comes to example is NBA 2K, right? There's a couple of SKUs for that, but it's still all just one game. Like they'll have like a day one edition, they'll have a standard edition, things like that. I don't think that that's something we can ignore. Beyond that, you know, if Pikmin is something that gets announced, you know, something like that could be on there as well. I think it's just fun to try to hypothesize how many of these we can, like, guess.
Absolutely. And Metroid Prime 4 is not in their system, so I'm not saying the game comes out this year, but I feel like a more formal conversation around that game does potentially get that a spot. You mentioned Fire Emblem. I think that's absolutely one of these. If Pokemon is a thing, that could be one or even two of these.
Exactly.
Let's not ignore the sports out there. NBA 2K, FIFA 19, Madden 19, WWE 2K19. That could easily be four of them right there. Outside of that, you know, we have to expect a couple Nintendo surprises. So, as you mentioned, Pikmin, maybe Animal Crossing, perhaps Mario Maker, you know, some other port, Wonderful 101 coming to Switch, and then third party, you'd imagine would fill most of these slots. Because I can't foresee Nintendo announcing more than, I don't know, 4 or 5 of these, right? Like there's no weird world where the June 12th presentation rolls around and like we have 10 brand new Switch games, right?
Yeah, no, I really don't think so. I think third party is going to be heavy on here. We did just get an announcement for Monster Hunter, so maybe Monster Hunter could even just be one of these.
Yeah.
So
that could be. Little extra granule here. All these are listed as 12/31/18, so they have no dates. Don't read anything into that. I think it's just like a general games industry PSA. If you ever see December anything towards the end of the year, it's always a placeholder, whether it's 30, 31, 29. That's always what these sites use as placeholders. And in fact, they even have like Yoshi and Smash Brothers and stuff like that listed with that same date. Outside of that, you know, it's hard. I would imagine that these will be dotted across the publishers, Ubisoft, EA, Activision. I would hope that they all have something to contribute.
I have a couple more just to throw out there. All right, so I think one of them could easily be the retro IP, right? Because we've heard about them working for something for so long, and you know nothing ever happened. Beyond that, I think the other thing that it could be is we heard about a Xenoblade export, not a Xenoblade export, Xenoblade X port. We've heard about that a little bit, so I'm wondering if that could have something to do with it as well. And the last one that I'll say here, and because we know the game is coming, Sonic, the racing game. I feel like one of those might be it, because we know that that's going to happen on Switch, you know, more than likely because Sega is really, really supporting the platform. So whatever that new Sonic racing game, I think could easily be one of these.
Yeah, I feel like Bethesda will own at least one or two of these. They have, you know, definitely vocalized their support for the system in terms of old titles coming to the hybrid and in terms of new titles, maybe even seeing day and date releases as well. So maybe we finally get that coveted Fallout port on Switch, or perhaps whatever Bethesda is ready to reveal is multi-platform. I will say that another one of these I think is 100% Lego DC Villains. That was part of the Incredibles rumor, and that one obviously is on here because it has a June 15th release date. But I'm fully expecting DC Villains to be legitimized at E3. So I mean, Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate, Lego DC Villains. We've got
Sonic Racing,
Metroid Prime, Sonic. That's 4. If Pokemon is a thing, that's already 5, 6. If they include those 4 sports games, that's 10. So And then, you have to imagine Nintendo has one or two more things, whether it's a Pikmin, an Animal Crossing, something completely new. So you're really looking at about 4 of these, maybe 5 of these that are wild cards, I think. And those to me are the most interesting, especially since last E3 brought us the insane crossover of Mario plus Rabbids. Like, could we get something similar? And what companies decide to really put major multi-platform oomph behind this? I mean, we have to acknowledge the fact that some of these could be very, 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 very dull. I mean, Hello Kitty Cruisers is on here, and nothing against that game. There's the potential that some of these also are, physical versions of other games. I will note they're all listed at $59.99 right now, but I don't think that.
Yeah, I think that
has
can
to
easily
be locked in.
that can easily change.
So if there's cartridge versions of some games, they do already have Mario Tennis Aces, Captain Toad. So basically everything that's been announced outside of Metroid is already accounted for. But again, I kind of go back to probably like 3 to 6 wildcard slots in here that we do not know. And I wonder also, Gabe, and we haven't really discussed this much before, but I'll bring it up. I do wonder if a third Labo pack is a thing at E3. I don't know how that's sold. I know it was on the charts in the UK and then quickly off, but maybe a third Labo pack is part of this?
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely a possibility. It's just fun to speculate about what these could be. As we inch closer and closer to E3, things like this are probably going to keep happening. So, I mean, sound off in the comments. Let us know what games you think and what games you want these 15 slots to be filled up with. There's a lot of possibilities. And honestly, so many of them are just going to be things that we just can't even predict. So, yeah, exciting times.
I hope so. I hope there are definitely some that are completely off our radar and then enter this list as just those golden E3 moments that drop your jaw and widen your eyes. Make sure to stick with us. We'll have all that coverage, as Gabe mentioned. Subscribe to stay up to date on all the latest and greatest from the Switch. Make sure to follow us on Twitter and Discord. Links in the description below. And until next time, let us know what games you feel these might be in the comments. And for myself and Gabe, we love you. Switch Force